House will come to order. Members, please take your seats. Head page.
The House is now in session. All persons not entitled to privileges of the floor, please retire to the gallery.
The members will rise and be led in prayer by Senior Pastor Michael J. Lawson, Rejoicing Life Church, Stewart's Draft, and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, which will be led by the delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring.
Would you join me in prayer? Gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for the members of our Virginia House of Delegates who dedicate their time, effort, energy, expertise, and talent to represent our constituents and communities. Lord, I ask that you bring strength, encouragement, health, and provision to our representatives and their families. Heavenly Father, all throughout our state and nation, we face situations that are riddled with impossibilities. However, I find encouragement from your word, which reminds us that you are the God of the impossible. You are the God who brings forth rivers in the parched desert lands, thereby restoring fruitfulness. You are the God who provides paths in the dense wilderness areas of life, bringing forth direction, clarity, and hope. You are the one by whom, through whom, and for whom all things exist for your glory. Lord, I ask that you guide the hearts of our leaders with your mighty hand of wisdom, conviction, grace, and discernment as they navigate the challenging terrain of delegations and decisions, which determine direction, impacting our constituents and communities across the great Commonwealth of Virginia. Heavenly Father, I offer this prayer before you today in the name of my personal Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Come all the way down.
The members will answer the roll call by indicating their presence on the electronic voting board. Clerk will close the roll.
Mr. Speaker, a quorum is present.
Pursuant to House Rule 3, I've examined and approved the Journal of the House of Delegates for February 5th, 2026. Motions and resolutions under Rule 39 pursuant to the provisions of Rule 40 are now in order. Does the clerk have any announcements or communications?
No announcements or communications at this time, Mr. Speaker. So members of the House, pursuant to House Rule 40, Speaker requests that you use your request to speak button for the agenda items listed for reference up on the voting board.
The delegate from Rockingham, Delegate Runyon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise for the purpose of an introduction.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have the delightful and privilege today of introducing my friend, Pastor Mike Lawson, who offered our opening prayer this morning. He and his wife, Cindy, and their 3 children reside in Stewart's Draft, located in the beautiful Shenandoah Valley. Mike graduated in 1990 from Virginia Tech, go Hokies, with a degree in marketing. He had a successful career in business operations management. 20 years ago, he left the business world and answered the call to ministry at Rejoicing Life Church. He has been senior pastor there for over 16 years. In addition to his ministry within the church, Mike has a passion for well-being. Excuse me. Sorry, I got to put my glasses. Apologize there. He has a passion for well-being and success for our youth. In 2022, Mike was appointed to complete a partial term on the Augusta County School Board representing the South River District. Mike has been successfully re-elected twice, allowing him to continue in that role. Finally, Mike is a part of our local leadership team and serves as state representative for city elders of Virginia. I ask my fellow members to please join me in extending a warm house welcome to Pastor Mike Lawson.
Welcome, Pastor Law, sir. Thank you for that beautiful prayer this morning. The delegate from Loudoun County, Delegate Martinez.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for an introduction.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, join us in the gallery today is the mayor and members of the town council and staff from the town of Leesburg, which I proudly served on for 20 years. I would ask them to please rise. Staff too. From the town of Leesburg, the town of Leesburg is a wonderful place to live. I am proud to call it home for more than 32 years. Its charm and success are the result of dedicated leadership and the hard work of those who care deeply about this community. If you haven't visited yet, I invite you to come experience Leesburg for yourself. Enjoy the many restaurants and small businesses that make King Street such a special place. And also on the first Friday of every month, we close the streets for a wonderful evening of visiting our small businesses and having some treats from the cafes and stuff. So anyway, I hope the members will join me in extending a warm welcome for the town of Leesburg.
Welcome to the Capitol today. Delegate from Winchester, Delegate Wiley.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for a motion.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Make a motion that H.R. 74, I think my page number's messed up. I think it's page 72, be moved. Today's calendar go by until Friday, February 27th.
Delegate from Winchester, Delegate Wiley moves that H.R. 74 go by until February 27th. All in favor of that motion say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The motion is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The delegate from Montgomery County, Delegate Franklin.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for a motion.
The delegate has the floor. I thought you were about to say I rise for no purpose. I rise. Okay, sit down then. Okay.
Having voting on the prevailing side of which we failed to report HB 1053, I motion to reconsider that vote so members can correct their vote.
The delegate from Montgomery County, having voted on the prevailing side by which we failed to pass HB 1053, moves that we reconsider that vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The motion is agreed to. Clerk will open the roll.
It's from the. Yeah.
It's your bill. Shall the bill pass? Yeah.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker.
Hold on.
Speaker, we're trying to get that, so we will.
Mr. Speaker, I
find
rise
that in a
for
second.
a motion.
We're going to come back to it.
On this.
Okay, the delegate from Roanoke City, Douglas Sewell.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for a motion. Mr. Speaker, I move that we move this bill to the end of the second regular calendar for a vote. Third regular calendar for a vote.
All in favor of moving HB 1053 to the end of the third regular calendar will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion is agreed to.
Just
Clerk shall announce the next order of business. Oh. A lot going on. Pursuant to House Rule 30, the journal shall reflect that the following members are away on pressing personal business and are granted leave from today's session. Delegates Converse, Fowler, and Knight. The clerk will announce the next order.
Mr. Speaker, the second portion of the morning I reserved for the announcements of members' requests to move legislation from any uncontested to irregular. There are several. Mr. Speaker, first category, third reading uncontested, pages 1 and 2, House Bills 18 by Delegate McClure and House Bill 255. Both of those are out of the uncontested block over to the regular calendar at the request of Delegate Hamilton. In addition, going forward in the calendar, page 10, in that large category of House Bills second uncontested, Delegate McLaughlin's House Bill 365 is moved to the regular calendar. Page 12, Delegate Kent's House Bill 646 out of the block of the regular calendar. Both of those at the request of Delegate Tran. Going ahead to page 13, Delegate Cousins, House Bill 848 out of the block at the request of Delegate Hamilton. Page 14, House Bill 1093, Delegate Hernandez's legislation, and on page 15, Delegate Reed's House Bill 1127. All three of those are out of the block over to the regular calendar, second reading regular, at the request of Delegate Hamilton. Going further in the uncontested second reading block, page 16, Delegate Wiley's House Bill 1289. Page 17, Delegate Wiley's House Bill 1291. And on the same page, Delegate Navarre's House Bill 1305. Those three out of the block to the regular calendar, request of Delegate Tran. On page 18, still in that second uncontested block, Delegate Schmidt's House Bill 1408 is out of the block over to the regular calendar, request of Delegate Tran.
Delegate from Virginia Beach, Delegate Tater.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to request that we return to the morning hour for the purpose of an introduction.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today in the gallery, I am delighted to introduce our own Miss Virginia and Miss Virginia Teen. Miss Virginia's Madison Whitbeck and Miss Virginia Teen is Ariana Guest. Madison Whitbeck currently serves as Miss Virginia, representing the Commonwealth through service, scholarship, and leadership. She is a student at Belmont University working towards a Bachelor of Music degree. Madison is a lifelong performer and advocate for arts education. She leads her initiatives, Arts for All, which promotes confidence, self-expression, and access to music and theater for students of all abilities. During her year of service, Madison travels across Virginia, engaging with schools, community organizations, and state partners to promote healthy habits, creativity, and civic leadership. Ariana Guest currently serves as Miss Virginia's Teen. She is a sophomore at Tabb High School and a national award-winning dancer who aspires one day to attend the acclaimed Juilliard School of Dance. A lifelong performer, Ariana is deeply committed to mentorship, serving as a role model and leader for younger dancers at her studio and throughout her community. After her youngest sister was born prematurely at just 23 weeks, Ariana became passionate about advocating for NICU families and raising awareness around the importance of emotional and community support during extended hospital stays. Throughout her year of service, Ariana travels across Virginia, engaging with students, families, and organizations to promote resilience, confidence, and empathy for others. As representatives of the Miss America organization, these two bright stars are dedicated to teaching young people the importance of using their voice to create meaningful impact across the Commonwealth. I hope our body will give a warm welcome recognizing these two dynamic young women and welcoming them to the Capitol today. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Welcome to the Capitol today. We speak that same language, right? Clerk shall announce the next order of business.
Mr. Speaker, the third portion of the morning hour reserve announcements, member requests for legislation go by for today, and if any, the subsequent motion effectuates change by the majority leader. There are several. Page 10, Delegate McLaughlin's House Bill 365 that has been already out of the block. It's also by for the day, request Delegate Tran. And then going down further into House Bills second reading regular, page 19, Delegate Tran's House Bill 1161 and Delegate McClure's House Bill 525. Both of those are requested to go by for the day by Delegate Tran.
Delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the legislation as announced by the clerk go by for the day.
Delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring moves that the legislation as announced by the clerk go by for the day. As many in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The motion is agreed to. Clerk shall announce the next order of business.
And, Mr. Speaker, the fourth and final portion of the morning hour is reserved for member requests for points of personal privilege.
Delegate from Roanoke, Delegate McNamara.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for a point of personal privilege.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members of the body, I would say I'm confused. I'm confused because over the last few weeks in committee after committee, the other side of the aisle has killed bills that make life more affordable for Virginians. I saw bills killed for the first-time homebuyer credit, Mr. Speaker. Saw a bill killed for a credit to help with child care costs. Saw a bill killed to implement a child tax credit. In rationalizing, stating the child tax credit not going forward, it was stated that we are gently laying 681,000 children on the table. One by one, Mr. Speaker, as if reading from a script, the decisions were rationalized based on tough economic decisions that has descended upon the Commonwealth. Further, Mr. Speaker, I vividly recall, shortly after our governor was elected, her stating that the first order of business was to right our financial house. Now, I say that I was confused because, Mr. Speaker, I thought Virginia's financial position was in excellent shape. I was wondering if perhaps I had wished existence of a reality that didn't exist. Was it a mirage that I seem to recall a very different financial picture when I evaluated our monthly reports? So, Mr. Speaker, I went to the Commonwealth of Virginia Secretary of Finance website to review the latest monthly financial report, which covered the first 6 months of this year. I seem to recall having reviewed it, but I wanted to review it again. Mr. Speaker, you may be as shocked as I to learn that the December report had been removed from the website. Despite the last 25 years of reports cataloged month by month, December was not there. The most recent release from January 14th that covered the first 6 months of this year had been removed. It used to be publicly posted. Members on this side of the aisle could not access it. Members on that side of the aisle could not access it. The public can't access it. So before I spoke today, several days ago, I reached out to our former colleague, Secretary of Finance, and I asked where I could find the Master Revenue Report for December. I wasn't asking for analysis or interpretation. I was just asking for the document itself. He was very responsive and said he would have it sent over to me in inter-office mail. I want to pause on that. By the way, I've not received it as of today. I would like to pause on that. In 2026, in the middle of a budget debate, the Commonwealth's primary revenue document is not posted online, not archived, not accessible to members or staff. It is being mailed. That's not a partisan complaint. It's not a personal one. It is a process problem, Mr. Speaker. And I want to be fair about this. I don't know whether the governor knows that this document is available for legislators. I don't know what internal conversations have occurred. But I do know this. The governor could make this information available. She has the authority to make sure this process is transparent, and it shouldn't be controversial. When the revenue letter disappears, it weakens the legislature's position. It weakens the faith in the process for everyone. Now, have no fear, because not only do I remember what was on that report, but I also made a hard copy of it when it was released last month. Now, Mr. Speaker, what could be on that report that Democrats do not want Virginians to know? Could it be that our December revenues surged by 21% over the prior year? Could it be that our general fund revenues are 8.6% higher than last year? General fund revenues equals taxes. Now, Mr. Speaker, my income is not 8.6% higher than last year. Many of the constituents I represent, their income is not 8.6% higher than last year, but the Commonwealth's is. Could it be that our 6-month revenues are $1.2 billion higher than the assumed budget that we crafted less than a year ago? Could it be that our reserve funds are the 3rd highest in the nation? Almost 10 times the reserves that existed at the beginning of the Ralph Northam term? Mr. Speaker, as was shown yesterday, the Democrats have the votes in this chamber to do as desired. Democrats can vote down eliminating the car tax. They can vote down eliminating the remaining grocery tax. They can vote down creating a child tax credit or child care assistance credit. But what is not okay is lying to Virginia about our financial condition and blocking access to the key financial data that has been cataloged and available for the last 28 years, just because the facts do not support a desired narrative. As Republicans, we are ready and able to deliver on campaign promises to make Virginia more affordable. I hope I am wrong, but it does not appear the Democrats share that same commitment. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Delegate from Dinwiddie, Delegate Pope Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for a point of personal privilege.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise on this 6th day of Black History Month to pay tribute to the Honorable Alfred W. Harris. Although born in Fairfax County, Harris made a life and a career south of the James River. Elected to the House of Delegates in 1881, 1 year later, the delegate from Dinwiddie County introduced the bill that chartered what is now the Virginia State University, a 4-year state-supported school that has never wavered in their equal treatment of every student they teach. Mr. Speaker, in a time when it may feel like progress is fragile and history is easily forgotten, we would do well to remember leaders like Alfred W. Harris. He did not simply hold office. He used it to expand opportunity, to plant seeds of education, and to build institutions that would outlive him and uplift generations. Because of his vision, Virginia State University still stands today as a beacon of access, excellence, and dignity for those who will soon join. May we honor his legacy not only in word, but in our willingness to lead with the same courage and conviction as Alfred W. Harris. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The delegate from Albemarle, Delegate Carlson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise with the request to return to the first morning hour for the purpose of an introduction.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in the gallery today, we have advocates from Students for Equity and Reform in Virginia, also known as SERVE. I ask them to please rise at this time. SERVE is a student-led advocacy organization based at the University of Virginia. Since 2020, SERVE has worked to bring young people into the policy process to ensure their voices are heard, to uphold the constitutional rights of all Virginians, to make Virginia more affordable, and to protect the environment. I request that the members join me in extending them a warm house welcome.
Welcome to the Capitol today. Clerk will call the calendar.
The calendar for today, Friday, February 6, 2026, for the Virginia House of Delegates. Page 1, first category, House bills on third reading, uncontested calendar. House Bill 18 and House Bill 255 are out of the block, so therefore the one bill in the block, page 2, is House Bill 877. House Bill 877, third reading, final passage, uncontested calendar, is now before the body.
Shall the bills pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 98, no 0.
Ayes 98, no 0. The bills pass.
New category, House bills on third reading, regular calendar. Approximately a dozen bills in or so on that category. Page 3, bill before you first is House Bill 1395, relating to prohibiting loitering, age restrictions on trick-or-treating.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 67, noes 30.
Ayes 67, noes 30. The bill passes.
House Bill 16 is next. It relates to community service work in lieu of payment of fines and costs, work performed while incarcerated.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 72, noes 25.
Ayes 72, noes 25. The bill passes.
Over on page 4, we continue third reading regular. House Bill 17 relates to fines, costs, forfeitures, penalties, and restitution, collection fees, assessment against incarcerated defendant, deferred payment agreement.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 66, noes 32.
Ayes 66, noes 32. The bill passes.
House Bill 211 now before you requires the Head Start State Collaboration Office, Department of Education, to develop and recommend to the Commission on Early Childhood Care and Education for endorsement a report summarizing the state of Head Start and early Head Start in the Commonwealth.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 65, noes 32.
Ayes 65, noes 32. The bill passes.
House Bill 263 is next. It relates to Superintendent of Public Instruction, employment, certified school library specialists.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 74, noes 22.
Ayes 74, noes 22. The bill passes.
House Bill 653 relates to excused student absences for visitation of immediate family members, active duty military scheduled for deployment, on leave from deployment, or returning from deployment outside the United States.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 94, noes 2.
Ayes 94, noes 2. The bill passes.
Over on page 6, we continue third reading regular. House Bill 665 now before you relates to financial institutions and services, virtual currency kiosk operators, license required, penalties.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 84, noes 13.
Ayes 84, noes 13. The bill passes.
House Bill 798 relates to the Virginia Disposition of Unclaimed Property Act, digital assets.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 96, noes 2.
Ayes 96, noes 2. Bill passes.
House Bill 1037 relates to the Board of Education instructional materials on climate change and environmental literacy, model policies, and procedures for selection.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 65, noes 33.
Ayes 65, noes 33. The bill passes.
House Bill 1153 relates to the Community Builders Pilot Program, name change, sunset repeal, statewide demonstration model site.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 75, noes 22.
Ayes 75, noes 22. The bill passes.
House Bill 584, now before you, relates to Western Virginia Public Education Consortium, governance, fundings, duties.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 98, noes 0.
Ayes 98, noes 0. The bill passes.
Over on page 8, bill before you next is House Bill 231. It relates to the Autism Advisory Council, name change, membership, staffing, powers, and duties.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 93, noes 4.
Ayes 93, noes 4. The bill passes.
Mr. Speaker, picking up several of the other bills next up that have been moved out of the block. Page 1, House Bill 18, now before you, establishes the Employee Child Care Assistance Program.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 91, noes 7.
Ayes 91, noes 7. The bill passes.
Over on page 2, picking up House Bill 255, it relates to the Interstate Compact for School Psychologists, membership of the Commonwealth.
Shall the bill pass?
Thank you.
Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 97, noes 1.
Ayes 97, noes 1. The bill passes.
And, Mr. Speaker, House Bill 1053, which was considered yesterday, is now a final passage. House Bill 53 relates to Go Virginia grants, matching funds.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 97, noes 1.
Ayes 97, noes 1. The bill passes.
Mr. Speaker, members of the House, we continue with today's calendar. We move into a new category, House bills on second reading, uncontested calendar, beginning with page 18, House Bill 37 is now before you, which seeks to repeal portions of the Acts of Assembly of 2024 relating to developmental disability waivers, financial eligibility standards, sunset repeal. This legislation was reported to the Committee on Health and Human Services.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Shin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, House Bill 37 repeals the July 1st, 2026 sunset clause that we put on a 2024 bill that I carried, which directs DMAS to disregard Social Security disability income when determining financial eligibility for folks who have developmental disability waivers. And Mr. Speaker, I move that this bill be passed, engrossed first, and then passed to its third reading. Thank you.
Continuing with the block, over on page 9, we come to Delegate Kriesic's House Bill 156, directing the Board of Medicine and the Board of Nursing to establish continuing education requirements on the electronic death registration system, as well as require an attestation on the requirements of the timely signing of death certificates by physicians and advanced practice registered nurses authorized to practice independently. Legislation Report Committee on Health and Human Services with Amendment H to substitute.
The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Kriesic.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The clerk has described the bill. the legislation to speed up the process by which a death certificate is signed and finalized. I hope it's the will of the body to engross the bill and put it. Oh, I'm sorry. I moved the substitute. Thank you.
Shall the substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Substitutes agreed to. Delegate Cruiser.
I hope it's the will of the body to engross this bill and pass it on to its third reading.
Next up in the block is House Bill 174, which seeks to amend and reenact portion of the Code of Virginia relating to the Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act, tenant remedies, early termination of rental agreement by military personnel. Legislative Support Committee on General Laws.
The delegate from Virginia Beach, Delegate Fagans.
Madam Speaker, House Bill 174 updates our code to protect military tenants when service obligations make it impossible for them to remain in a leased home. This bill is supported by the realtors and allows for permanent change of station terminations, including also to include extended TDYs, separations, relocations, or government housing or emergency stop movement orders. The bill removes an outdated 60-day notice requirement and aligns state law with the Federal Service Members Civil Relief Act, providing clarity and fairness for military families and landlords alike. Madam Speaker, I move that this bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
Next up in the block, House Bill 225, now before you, seeks to amend and reenact Section Code of Virginia relating to the Marcus Alert Evaluation Task Force creation. Legislative report from the Committee on Health and Human Services, this time with an amendment.
The delegate from Arlington, Delegate Hope.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move the committee amendment.
Shall the amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The amendment's agreed to. Delegate Hope.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. As amended, House Bill 225 comes as a recommendation of the Behavioral Health Commission. It requires the Department of Behavioral Health to convene a Marcus Alert Evaluation Task Force to review the effectiveness of the Marcus Alert system and to ensure its long-time success. Hope you pleasure the body to engross the bill and pass it on to its third read.
During page 10 of the printed calendar, we come to House Bill 309, legislation to amend and reenact Section Code of Virginia relating to temporary detention in hospital for testing, observation, or treatment. Again, Legislative Support Committee on Health and Human Services, amendment nature substitute.
The delegate from Arlington, Delegate Hope.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move the committee substitute.
Shall the substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Substitutes agreed to. Delegate Hope.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, members of the body. Everyone knows that when someone presents with, they reach the commitment evaluation criteria, they go before a magistrate or a judge and then get a temporary detention order. But what if a person goes to the emergency room and presents? What do they do about the gap between the time that they enter the hospital, the ER, and the time that a magistrate or a judge approves the TDO? What this bill does, it defines that gap period. This seems who has custody in the hospital situation. It will be a pleasure of the body to engross the bill and pass it on to its third read.
Next up in the block, Delegate Martinez's House Bill 340. This legislation seeks to amend and reenact Section Code of Virginia relating to migrant labor camp permits, expiration. Legislation Report Committee on Labor and Commerce.
The delegate from Loudoun, Delegate Martinez.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. HB 340 removes the annual December 31st expiration date for all issued migrant labor camp permits and provides that such permits expire 12 months from the date of issuance. Madam Speaker, I move that the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
House Bill 365 is out of the block. Bye for the day. Continuing with the block, second reading, uncontested calendar, page 11. We come to House Bill 465, legislation to amend and reenact Section Code of Virginia relating to the Advisory Board on Behavior Analysis Composition. Legislation, again, report to the Committee on Health and Human Services.
The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Cohen.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, House Bill 465 is a technical bill that revises the composition of the current Advisory Board on Behavior Analysis. Under current law, the composition of the Advisory Board requires 2 licensed behavior analysts who have practiced for at least 3 years and 1 licensed assistant behavior analyst who's practiced for at least 3 years. HB 465 changes that language to a total of 3 members who are either licensed behavior analysts or licensed assistant behavior analysts who've practiced for at least 3 years. I hope it's the will of the body to engross the bill and pass it on to its third reading.
Top of page 12, we come to House Bill 513. This is legislation amend and reenact Section Code of Virginia relating to overdose fatality review teams, suicide deaths of veterans and military service members. Again, Legislative Report Committee on Health and Human Services with amendment nature substitute.
The delegate from Loudoun, Delegate Martinez.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House adopt the committee substitute.
Shall the substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to. Delegate Martinez.
HB 513 adds to the list of purposes for which local and regional overdose facility review teams may be established for the purpose of reviewing the overdose-related deaths by suicide of all veterans and military service members. This bill also adds a local representative of the Virginia Department of Veteran Services to the list of persons who may be on the local and regional teams. Madam Speaker, I move that the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
Continuing with the block, we come to House Bill 661, which is legislation to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to traffic regulations, bicycles, electric personal assistive mobility devices, electric-powered assisted bicycles, and motorized skateboards or scooters. Legislation Report Committee on Transportation.
The delegate from Henrico, Delegate Willett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. HB 661 is known as the Bicycle Safety Omnibus Bill. It's also known as the We Want to Be Able to Ride Our Bikes with Our Kids and Grandkids More Safely Bill. It makes targeted updates to improve the clarity and safety for people bicycling. I hope it will be the will of the body to engross the bill and pass it on to its third reading.
Next up in the block, top of page 13, we come to House Bill 681, which seeks to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to retired law enforcement officers, emergency and temporary detention admissions. Legislation Report Committee on Health and Human Services.
The delegate from Chesapeake, Delegate Hayes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The purpose of this legislation is to provide relief and support to our public safety departments throughout the Commonwealth of Virginia, addressing the execution of temporary detention orders as well as emergency custody orders. This is just one of the ways that we're able to deal with this growing problem that we have here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. I hope it's the will of the body to engross the bill and move it on to its third reading.
House Bill 848 is out of the block. Continuing with the block, we come to House Bill 889, which is legislation to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to electric utilities, construction of certain transmission lines, priority of placement work group report. Legislation Report Committee on Labor and Commerce with an amendment nature substitute.
The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Shin.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I move the committee substitute.
Shall the substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. Substitute is agreed to. Delegate Shin.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. House Bill 889 directs the Virginia Department of Transportation to convene a work group of relevant stakeholders, including the State Corporation Commission, as well as members of the Virginia Utility Coordinating Committee, to identify opportunities and develop recommendations for streamlining the existing siting and permitting processes to prioritize transmission co-location as much as possible in the Commonwealth. Madam Speaker, I would move that the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
Continuing with the block, top of page 14, House Bill 1073. Now, before you would direct the State Corporation Commission to promulgate regulations for pipeline leak detection and repair standards. Legislation Report Committee on Labor and Commerce with amendment nature substitute.
The delegate from Roanoke City, Delegate Rasul.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, move the committee substitute.
Shall the substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Substitute is agreed to. Delegate Rasul.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. House Bill 1073 helps to make our communities more safe by ensuring we have advanced leak detection. It will be a pleasure to the body to engross the bill and pass it on to its third reading.
House Bill 1093 is out of the block. Therefore, continuing with the block, House Bill 1117 now before you seeks to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia related to the Department of Professional and Occupational Regulations, universal license recognitions. Legislation Report Committee on General Laws.
The delegate from Henrico, Delegate Navarre.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. House Bill 1117 shortens Virginia's out-of-state licensure requirement from 3 years to 1, helping qualified professionals enter our workforce faster and allowing employers to fill critical openings more quickly. It keeps all existing safeguards like exams, background checks, and oversight by DPOR and the regulatory boards, while preserving their discretion to apply higher standards or deny applications when necessary. Madam Speaker, I ask that the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker?
Yes, the delegate from Fairfax. Delegate
Speaker,
Simon.
Would the delegate yield for a question?
Will the delegate yield?
Sure, why not?
The delegate yields.
Madam Speaker, I'd ask the delegate if she considers herself to be a fast reader or speaker.
Not as fast as you.
Mr. Speaker, will the delegate yield for, Madam Speaker, will the delegate yield for an additional question?
Will the delegate yield?
Of course.
The delegate yields.
Madam Speaker, I would note that her bill affects the Board of Licensure for Auctioneers. And I was wondering if she would be willing to read, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 lines of her bill in the style of an auctioneer.
Okay, I'll try. Thank you, Madam Speaker. House Bill 1117 shortens Virginia's out-of-state licensure requirement 3 years to 1. Who wants to bid?
Madam Speaker, I thank the delegate. Madam Speaker, can this bill go to the regular calendar after engrossment?
Without objection to the regular calendar.
Continuing with today's calendar, House Bill 1127 out of the block to the regular calendar, therefore continuing. Second reading uncontested calendar block. And on page 15, we come to House Bill 1176. This is legislation to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to the Department of Professional Occupational Regulation, quorum requirements for certain regulatory boards. Legislation Report Committee on General Laws.
The delegate from Spotsylvania, Delegate Cole.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. House Bill 1176 addresses ongoing quorum challenges faced by two Department of Professional and Occupational Regulation regulatory boards by amending and lowering outdated requirements that made it difficult for boards to meet and conduct business. Without this legislation, the statute is set to revert in 2026 to a stricter quorum standard that would make it harder for the board to function. Madam Speaker, I move that the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading. Thank you.
Continuing with the block, House Bill 1247 now before you is legislation to amend the Code of Virginia relating to professions and occupations, barbers and cosmetologists, aesthetics, licensure compact. Legislation Report Committee on General Laws.
The delegate from Norfolk, Delegate Glass.
Gratitude, Madam Speaker. House Bill 1247 enters Virginia into the Aesthetics Licensure Compact, allowing licensed and qualified estheticians, such as barbers and cosmetologists, to practice in Virginia. Ms. Speaker, I move the bill be engrossed and passed on to its third reading.
New bill number House Bill 1254, same patron. This legislation seeks to amend and reenact multiple sections of the Code of Virginia, this time relating to the Department of Professional and Occupational Regulations. Again, the legislation reported on general laws with amendment nature substitute.
The delegate from Norfolk, Delegate Glass.
Gratitude, Madam Speaker. House Bill 1254 updates Virginia professional licensure statutes for professions regulated by the Department of Professional Occupational Regulations by making technical and conforming updates to language that reflect the current regulatory practice. Madam Speaker, I move the bill be engrossed and passed on to the third reading. This bill has a substitute. I knew that.
Shall the substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. Substitute is agreed to.
Continuing with the second reading on contested calendar block, we come to House Bill 1287, legislation to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to the Board of Veterinary Medicine applications for licensure or renewal, indication of interest to serve as veterinarian of record included on the application. Legislation Report Committee on Health and Human Services with amendment nature substitute.
The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Cohen.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. First, I'd ask the body to move the substitute.
Shall the substitute be adopted? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. Substitute is adopted.
Thank you. House Bill 1287, as substituted, would direct the Board of Veterinary Medicine to include a checkbox for applicants to indicate interest in serving as a veterinarian for animal shelters when they either initially apply for licensure or renew their license. The board will provide lists of these veterinarians who have indicated interest to serve our shelters to the state veterinarian on a quarterly basis, and it will be provided to the animal shelters. I hope it will be the will of the body to engross the bill and pass it on to its third reading.
On pages 16 and 17 of the printed calendar, House Bills 1289, 1291, and 1305 are all out of the block over to the regular calendar to be dispensed with subsequently. Therefore, continuing with the block, bottom of page 17, we come to House Bill 1311, which seeks to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to employees of state government, personal interest in certain contracts prohibited, certain exceptions for certain employees of the Virginia School for the Deaf and the Blind. Legislation Report Committee on General Laws.
The delegate from Norfolk, Delegate Hernandez.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This bill would allow employees at the Virginia School for the Deaf and Blind in Stanton, Virginia, to enter into contracts with the Commonwealth to make available textbooks and other educational materials created by VSDB employees. Under current law, they're prohibited from doing that, but these teachers are unicorns. They're fluent in American Sign Language, Braille, or both, and they are uniquely qualified to make educational materials. I move that we engross the bill and pass it along to its third reading.
And over on page 18, penultimately, we come to House Bill 1325, seeks to amend and reenact three sections of the Code of Virginia relating to the Manufactured Home Lot Rental Act, landlord obligations. This legislation was reported to committee on general laws.
The delegate from Prince William, Delegate Maldonado.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, HB 1325 may look familiar to a number of people in this body because we did pass it out of the General Assembly last year. It is a very simple bill that responds to some of the extreme climate conditions that we have seen. In fact, we saw as recently as the last 12 to 18 months where we had flooding, unanticipated flooding that really harmed and had disproportionate impact in our mobile home communities. So this bill simply requires that those renters, when they rent in mobile home communities, are given flood disclosure notices as well as information on where to seek coverage for flood insurance. I move that this bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
And lastly, in House Bill second reading uncontested calendar block is House Bill 1467. Legislation to amend the Code of Virginia relating to electric utilities, a virtual power plant pilot program, Phase 1 utilities. Legislation for Committee on Labor and Commerce.
Delegate from Montgomery County, Delegate Franklin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 1467 requires Appalachian Power Company to petition the State Corporation Commission for approval to conduct a pilot program to evaluate methods to optimize demand through virtual power plants. I hope it will be the will of the body to engross this bill and move it on to its third reading.
Shall the bills be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All opposed, no. The bills are engrossed and pass the third reading.
Mr. Speaker, members of the House, new category, House Bills on second reading regular. House Bill second reading regular, top of page 19. House Bill 1161 and House Bill 524, both of which are by for the day. Therefore, the first bill in this new category, Delegate Collison's House Bill 281, legislation to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to the Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act, non-compliance as defense to action for possession for non-payment of rent. Legislation Report Committee on General Laws with an amendment.
Delegate from Albemarle, Delegate Collison.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the committee amendments.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee amendments are agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The amendments approved bring the Virginia Association of Realtors to a neutral position on this bill. House Bill 281 allows tenants being sued by their landlords the ability to raise unlivable conditions as an affirmative defense for non-payment of rent, provided they have given the landlord notice and the landlord refused or failed to remedy the situation after a reasonable opportunity to do so. Previously, to utilize such a defense, tenants had to pay all past due rent before even raising the issue, denying many of them the opportunity to present the court a full and accurate picture of the situation. I ask that it be the will of the body to engross the bill and pass it to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and pass the third reading.
Next up in second reading regular, page 20, House Bill 338 is legislation to amend the Code of Virginia relating to building service employees, public contracting. Legislation reported Committee on Labor and Commerce with an amendment nature substitute.
Delegate from Arlington, Delegate Lopez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to move the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Every year, building service workers across Virginia lose their jobs without meaningful notice when service contracts change hands, leaving workers and families without income or time to prepare. This bill strengthens our ability to protect employees like custodial staff, janitors, security guards, doormen, and building superintendents when their employer changes. It allows localities to adopt displaced worker protection provisions ranging from notification of workers that their employer may change to requiring a 90-day transition period so that these workers can find new jobs. This bill will provide basic transparency and some stability to service workers whose lives are turned upside down when building service contracts are awarded to a new employer. Like I said, it's also permissive, and it's a may. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be engrossed and passed on to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and passed the third reading? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
House Bill 369 is legislation to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to electric utilities, renewable energy portfolio standard, zero carbon electricity, accelerated renewable energy buyers. Legislation Report Committee on Labor and Commerce Amendment nature substitute.
Delegate from Loudoun County, Delegate Reed.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I move the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 369 amends the definition of zero carbon electricity for the purposes of including electricity generated by fusion and nuclear energy and adds zero carbon electricity to certain provisions relating to the accelerated renewable energy buyers. I hope it will be the will of the body to engross the legislation and move it on to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass its third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
House Bill 452 now before you seeks to amend and reenact a portion of the Code of Virginia relating to the practice of radiologic technology, licensure exceptions. This legislation report Committee on Health and Human Services with an amendment.
Delegate from Henrico County, Delegate Willett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move the committee amendments.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. HB 452 addresses the workforce shortage we have currently for radiologic technicians, or also called rad techs. This expands those who are able to practice to do their work in hospitals, health systems, and hospital-affiliated urgent cares. It does not apply to standalone urgent care centers and does not prevent anyone from getting licensure for that. I hope it will be the will of this body to engross the bill and pass it on to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass its third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
House Bill 519 now before you seeks to amend and reenact Section Code of Virginia relating to the Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act, Essential Services. Legislation Support Committee on General Laws with amendments.
Delegate from Loudoun County, Delegate Martinez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House adopt the committee amendments.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. HB 519 amends the definition of essential service in the Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act to include air conditioning when supplied by landlords. Under current law, essential service includes heat, running water, hot water, electricity, and gas. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
House Bill 547 seeks to amend and reenact two portions of the Code of Virginia relating to private companies providing public transportation services, employee protections. Legislation Report Committee on Labor and Commerce.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Helmer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, House Bill 547 simply says that when public transit employees their services are contracted out, that the collective bargaining agreement continues to apply to the contracted services. I hope that it's the will of the body to engross this bill and pass it on to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
Stop at page 22. House Bill 554 is legislation to amend and reenact Sections Code of Virginia relating to state officers and employees, state agencies to establish alternative work schedules, reporting requirement. Legislation Report Committee on General Laws with amendments.
Delegate from James City County, Delegate Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move adoption of the committee amendments.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 554 repairs and clarifies Virginia's telework statute to restore its original intent by ensuring fairness, consistency, and workforce stability. It is not an expansion of telework and does not mandate remote work, but it reaffirms that telework eligibility decisions are based on operational needs and actual duties performed, not job title alone. It also restores agency and regional discretion, particularly for agencies with geographical distinct operations. Telework not only improves employee satisfaction and aids in retention efforts, but it reduces overhead costs, making it more affordable for our state agencies to operate. With that, Mr. Speaker, I hope it is the will of the body to move the bill, be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and passed the third reading? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
House Bill 616 now before you seeks to amend and reenact two sections of the Code of Virginia relating to the Department of Housing and Community Development, Virginia Residential and Landlord Tenant Act, Tenant Records. This Legislation Report Committee on General Laws with amendments.
Delegate from Norfolk, Delegate Anthony.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to move the committee substitute.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The amendments are technical edits from the Apartment and Office Builder Association to help the language track more cleanly with standard accounting practices. But House Bill 616 is a narrow tenant records bill focused on eviction prevention and affordability. It allows a tenant, upon request, to receive a rent ledger so families can access rental assistance and stay housed. Mr. Speaker, I hope it be the will of the body to engross the bill and pass it to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and passed the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
Bill 627 Now before you, House Bill 627 seeks to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to covenants not to compete, healthcare professionals, civil penalty. Legislation Support Committee on Labor and Commerce with amendments.
Delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring.
I move the committee amendments.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. HB 627 deals with covenants not to compete for healthcare professionals. The amendments finally defines healthcare professionals and also creates a cap on the covenant not to compete. It adds the healthcare employees as a category, and the bill provides an employer that violates the prohibition against covenants not to compete with a healthcare professional is subject to the current law, which is a $10,000 civil penalty for the violation. I move that the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and passed to third reading? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed to third reading.
Page 24, we come to Delegate McCullough's House Bill 693, legislation to amend and reenact various sections of the Code of Virginia, all relating to the Department of Workforce Development and Advancement, workforce development programs, apprenticeship program, Legislation Support Committee on General Laws with amendment nature substitute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the committee substitute.
The delegate from Fauquier, Delegate McCullough. Wait your turn.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I now move the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to.
Thank you again, Mr. Speaker. HB 693 formally establishes Virginia Works as the lead workforce agency and aligns programs, data sharing, and responsibilities under its authority. It clarifies regulatory authority and shifts training provider approval to the agency, ensuring consistency with state and federal workforce priorities. Overall, these changes streamline governance of the agency, improve accountability, and strengthen statewide workforce delivery, and I hope it is the will of the body to engross this bill and pass it to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and passed to third reading? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed to third reading.
House Bill 783 is legislation to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia related to parking enforcement, high tourism localities. Legislation Support Committee on Transportation with amendments.
Delegate from James City County, Delegate Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move adoption of committee amendment.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Get another chance here. House Bill 783 seeks to update language regarding parking enforcement and expand that authority to all localities, removing the stipulation that a population of 40,000 is required. This bill is brought to me by the City of Williamsburg, which is a population of roughly 16,000, but sees upwards of 2 million people per year, all of whom are parking within the city limits while visiting our historic city. This bill is also supported by our local law enforcement as a way to lessen the burden on the limited resources instead of adopting an ordinance to contract out parking enforcement. With that, Mr. Speaker, I hope it is the will of the body to move this bill on to be engrossed and passed for the third reading.
So close. You did not stick the landing. Shall the bill be engrossed and passed the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
Continue with the calendar. House Bill 812 seeks to amend the Code of Virginia relating to regulation of traffic, bicycles, electric-powered assisted bicycles, motorized skateboards or scooters, and mopeds, bicycle signals. Legislation Support Committee on Transportation with amendment nature substitute.
Delegate from Richmond City, Delegate Carr.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. HB 812 simply clarifies the code to allow the use of bicycle traffic signals. Such signals are permitted in the Federal Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices, but were not adopted by the Virginia control devices. This has created a gray area for local governments, which this bill will clarify. I hope it will be the will of the body to engross the bill and pass it on to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and passed the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
House Bill 819, House Bill 819 seeks to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to pedestrians walking on roadways that are part of divided highways. Legislation, again, Report Committee on Transportation.
The delegate from Richmond City, Delegate Carr.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, HB 819 clarifies an oversight in the code. Present law requires pedestrians to walk on the leftmost part of the highways to face oncoming traffic. In the case of a divided highway, this law still applies, meaning pedestrians must walk with the flow of the fastest traffic. HB 819 simply says that in this instance, they may walk on the rightmost part of the road. I hope it will be the will of the body to engross the bill and pass it to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
House Bill 834 is legislation to amend and reenact section of the Code of Virginia relating to the Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act, fire or casualty damage, termination by landlord. This legislation report committee on general laws.
The delegate from Arlington, Delegate McClure.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, HB 834 makes it easier for tenants to adjust and cope with the aftermath of a fire or casualty damage incident and prevents abrupt displacement without being unduly burdensome to landlords. This bill requires landlords to make reasonable efforts to meet with tenants whose units have been damaged by fire or other casualties to discuss the intent or the extent of the damage and whether or not there are reasonable alternatives to terminating the tenancy. This same bill passed out of the General Assembly in 2024 with bipartisan support, and I'm proud to continue to have peace in the Valley on this legislation and full support from small and large landlords who collaborated with me in bringing this bill forward. Mr. Speaker, I hope it is the will of the body to engross this bill and pass it on to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
Mr. Speaker, House Bill 837 now before you seeks to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to the Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act, Eviction Diversion Program eligibility, Legislation Report Committee on General Laws with amendments.
The delegate from Arlington, Delegate McClure.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move that the House adopt the committee amendments.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, HB 837 as amended expands the eviction diversion program so that additional eligible tenants can participate from throughout the Commonwealth. I worked extensively with the chair of the Housing Commission and all stakeholders to draft this bill, and I'm proud to also have peace in the Valley on this effort and expand this successful program that prevents evictions and makes the landlord whole. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be engrossed and passed on to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
Over on page 27, we come to House Bill 855, Delegate Cousins, legislation to amend and reenact Section of the Code of Virginia and repeal another, all relating to the Department of Medical Assisted Services, Medicaid estate recoveries. This legislation report committee on Health and Human Services.
The delegate from Richmond City, Delegate Cousins.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. HB 855 is a cleanup of Virginia's Medicaid estate recovery code to make it consistent with the Department of Medicaid Services practices. This bill also requires that clear, accessible information about estate recovery is provided to grieving families on the DMAS website. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and passed the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
House Bill 870 now before you seeks to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to Board of Accountancy, licensing requirements, inactive and emeritus status. Legislative Report Committee on General Laws with amendment nature substitute.
Mr. Speaker, I move adoption of the substitute, committee substitute.
First of all, the delegate from Stafford, Delegate Carroll.
Mr. Speaker, my apologies. Mr. Speaker, I move adoption on the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to.
Mr. Speaker, HB 870 directs the Board of Accountancies to establish an inactive and emeritus CPA license status for individuals who no longer provide services to the public or to an employer. The bill also requires the board to adopt clear guidelines governing how former CPAs may reference their CPA credential in biographical context so that references are accurate, transparent, and compliant with Virginia law. Mr. Speaker, I would just simply add that this technical change aligns Virginia with the national best practices already adopted in many states. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Simon.
Mr. Speaker, will the delegate yield for a question?
The delegate yield.
The delegate will yield, Mr. Speaker.
The delegate will yield.
So, Mr. Speaker, I understand the delegate is an accountant, and this is about accountancy. So I would ask the delegate, if I had purchased, in my job as a member of the House of Delegates, a prop for a joke that ended up lasting a really long time, should I take the $179 deduction and deduct all the expense of the prop in the first year, or would I need to depreciate this over the life of that long-running joke?
Mr. Speaker, I would answer the delegate and say that is the importance of this specific bill, specifically the emeritus status, because active licensed CPAs in Virginia are required to go through educational requirements to make sure that when they provide advice to their counsel, that they provide accurate and most up-to-date information, and that as he searched for the CPA, Mr. Speaker, he would need to ensure that that CPA is in fact active, as the 2% here in this general body is. So, Mr. Speaker, I would move that we engross this bill and pass it to its third reading.
Mr. Speaker, I thank the delegate. She said she was ready for me. She said she was ready.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass its third reading? Although,
Mr. Speaker.
Wow, you want to play. The delegate from Henry County, Delegate Williams.
Mr. Speaker, I too was curious. I did not know she was an accountant, and I too was curious.
Are you speaking to the bill, or you want to rise for a question?
I'm sorry, I'm rising for a question. So,
okay,
I'm sorry,
but the delegate yield.
The delegate will yield, Mr. Speaker.
The delegate likes yielding with you guys.
So I thought that I didn't know you were an accountant. My question was, do you think that Delegate Simon could write off the depreciation of the value of that clock and that joke?
The
Mr. Delegate, speaking to the bill,
Prince
specifically
William.
speaking, it's the importance of making sure that the classification of the CPAs are accurate and reflects the national best practices, Mr. Speaker.
It's Friday. Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and pass the third reading.
Turning to page 28, House Bill 879 by Delegate Shin is legislation to amend and reenact Section Code of Virginia relating to the Department of Social Services, request for records or information concerning applicants for and recipients of public assistance. Public notice required. Legislation Report Committee on Health and Human Services with amendments.
The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Shin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move adoption of the committee substitute.
Shall the committee agree?
Amendments.
Amendments.
I'm sorry.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 879 requires the Department of Social Services to make public notifications when they receive requests for personally identifiable information of Virginians enrolled in public assistance programs. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. Bills engrossed and pass the third reading.
Next up is House Bill 923, legislation to amend the Code of Virginia related to protection of employees, stay or pay contracts prohibited, civil penalty. Legislation Report Committee on Labor and Commerce with amendments.
Delegate from Arlington, Delegate Lopez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the committee amendments.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In recent years, restrictive stay or pay contracts have become all too common in many sectors, especially high-demand ones like computer programming, finance, and healthcare. These contracts, which workers are often forced to sign as a condition of employment, require them to reimburse an employer for any on-the-job training or other penalties and fees determined by the employer should they leave and pursue new employment. Stay or pay contracts act as a restraint on upward mobility, I believe, because workers often can't afford to pay the amount the employer demands. As a result, they may stay in jobs rather than taking opportunities for better ones. This bill, Mr. Speaker, would end these contracts, promoting upward mobility for workers and ensuring they get to keep their full wages. It also provides employees with equitable legal remedies. Mr. Speaker, I move we engross the bill and pass it on to its third reading.
Mr. Speaker.
The delegate from Spotsylvania, Delegate. The delegate from Henry County, Delegate Williams.
Thank God.
I saw if you had the button.
Mr. Speaker, will the patron yield for a question?
Will the patron yield for a question?
Certainly.
Gratitude, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'd ask the patron, under this bill, what would continue to incentivize a Virginia employer to invest money in sponsoring a foreign worker's visa, knowing that worker could leave and the employer would have no recourse to recover those costs as was agreed in the original contract?
Mr. Speaker, I would respond that the L-1B visa program, the H-1B visa, the H-2B visa program all have specific rules at the federal level that would not be, I believe, included in this legislation.
Mr. Speaker, speaking to the bill.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, speaking to the bill, President Reagan once said the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help." This is a bill of one of those moments. It, at its core, says that if you take a job and then you quit, you shouldn't be able or held accountable for the investment your employer made in you. Or, as the patron is suggesting, you would not be able to get a promotion or take a promotion because you feel like you have to stay or you will have to pay. This is not worker protection. This is the government telling Virginia business owners that they have no right to expect a return on the investment that they may choose to voluntarily make in their own people. Although I'm sure the patron would like to change that, but maybe he'll have to get a different bill. But when businesses stop making this investment, it won't be the corporations that suffer. They'll just quit doing it. It will be the working families, the dreamers, the people who came here to build a better life. This bill doesn't protect these vulnerable workers. It is economic disenfranchisement disguised as labor progress. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker.
The delegate from Spotsylvania, Delegate Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will the delegate yield for a question?
Will the delegate yield?
Yes, I'll yield.
Mr. Speaker, the question that I would ask is I want to make sure that I'm very clear on what this bill would do. My current employer allows for tuition reimbursement, and then you have to stay 1 year after that payment is made. This would prohibit them from making that requirement, which could ultimately get rid of the program that I'm currently utilizing to get my PhD. Is that what the bill is doing?
Listen,
the delegate from Arlington, Delegate Lopez.
Mr. Speaker, I would say that far too often we are having indentured servitude-esque kind of situations across Virginia. We want to avoid those kinds of situations. I would also say, Mr. Speaker, that for instance, according to the Student Borrower Protection Center, estimates that employers employing nearly 1/3 of today's labor market use stay or pay contracts. In many cases, however, they are too expensive. For instance, in the medical field, National Nurses United found that almost 45% of nurses surveyed with 1 to 5 years of experience were bound by stay or pay contracts, having repayment amounts that often exceeded $10,000. Mr. Speaker, I would say that indentured servitude was banned a long time ago. We should ban stay or pay contracts as well.
Mr. Speaker, speaking of the bill.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill is getting rid of the ability for individuals to contract. Nothing requires them to seek assistance from their employer to get tuition reimbursement. Nothing requires them to not seek better employment. Right now, with me utilizing the tuition reimbursement with my employer, I could go and leave that employment at any time if I find a job that's better. I might, with the credentials that I have earned through that tuition reimbursement, be able to find something that offsets that need to, or what I have to repay to my employer. So, Mr. Speaker, again, what this is big government telling companies what they can and cannot do. This is not indentured servitude. This is interfering with an individual's ability to contract with their employer, interfering with an individual's ability to gain assistance to better their life. I have a Juris Master's paid for by my company. I am working on a PhD in public policy paid for by my company. This bill goes through, that tuition reimbursement program could be cut. Not just at my company, but other companies as well. And the students will not, the employees will not be able to get that tuition reimbursement. And so when they're just a few semesters away from finishing a degree, it is pulled out from under them, and they're not able to finish because they cannot afford it on their own. And so the opportunity of getting that degree and advancing their career is taken away. I encourage everybody to vote against this piece of legislation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Shall the bill be engrossed and passed on to its third reading?
Okay.
All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
Continuing on, second reading, regular, top of page 29, House Bill 1005, now before you, seeks to amend and reenact two sections of the Code of Virginia relating to the Virginia Residential and Landlord and Tenant Act, rental payment methods, prohibited fees, Legislation Report Committee on General Laws with amendments.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Tran.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. I move the House adopt the committee amendments.
Shall the committee amendments be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee amendments are agreed to.
Thank you. This bill requires landlords to accept payment for rent and security deposits in the form of checks, electronic funds transfer, debit or credit cards, and money orders. It preserves language in the code that exempts small landlords from having to accept debit or credit cards. It also requires landlords to provide a receipt for certain circumstances and prohibits landlords from charging a fee to answer requests for basic maintenance. This bill has peace in the valley, and so I hope it's the will of the body to engross the bill and pass it on to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and passed its third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed its third reading.
Turning to page 30, we come to House Bill 1078, legislation to amend and reenact a section of the Code of Virginia, again relating to the Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act, this time adverse action by landlord-tenant remedies, legislation for Committee on General Laws with amendments.
The delegate from Norfolk, Delegate Hernandez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the committee amendments.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This legislation prohibits financial discrimination against prospective tenants who have prior eviction cases that were dismissed or non-suited. We have consensus with all of the stakeholders on this bill after lengthy negotiations. I would move that we engross the bill and pass it along to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and passed its third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed its third reading.
Next up, we come to House Bill 1102, legislation to amend and reenact two sections of the Code of Virginia relating to Renewable Energy Portfolio Standard Program, Geothermal Heating and Cooling Systems Report, legislation for Committee on Labor and Commerce with amendments.
The delegate from Loudoun County, Delegate Singh.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the committee amendments.
Shall the committee amendments be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee amendments agreed to.
Mr. Speaker, this bill creates an incentive for the adoption of geothermal heating and cooling by making it a bigger piece of the Virginia Clean Economy Act's Renewable Portfolio Standard. This is a recommendation of the Commission on Electric Utility Regulation. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and passed to third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed to third reading.
Over on page 31, we come to House Bill 1139, legislation to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to the Board of Medicine membership, removal of residence requirements, legislation for Committee on Health and Human Services.
Delegate from York County, Delegate Downey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 1139 is a cleanup bill relating to the composition of the Board of Medicine. This bill simply removes the residency requirements by congressional district for members of the board. I hope it is the will of the body to engross the bill and pass it to its third reading.
The delegate from, would you like to speak?
Yes, sir.
The delegate from Henry County, Delegate Williams. Speaking to the bill?
Yes, but I'm from Patrick County.
Patrick County. I'll move you around.
Actually, question for the patron.
Patrick Henry. You know that's what you
Yeah.
know. Give me
Thank
liberty,
you.
death,
I
that whole
appreciate
thing.
the,
yeah, that's you. All right.
I'd like to ask the patron.
Will the
question.
delegate, you'd like to ask the question, will he
If you
yield
don't
for a
mind.
question? The delegate, will you yield for a question on Friday?
I yield.
The delegate will yield on Friday for a question.
Can the patron identify which of Virginia's current congressional district lacks a qualified physician willing to serve on the board? And if not, what problem is this bill solving that justifies eliminating the only structural guarantee of rural representation?
The delegate from York County.
Mr. Speaker, I would answer the delegate that I'm not aware of any lack of representation. This is just a bill to get the Board of Medicine in line with all the other boards under the Department of Health Professions to allow flexibility should there be difficulty recruiting from different parts of the Commonwealth.
Mr. Speaker, follow up.
Will the delegate yield?
I yield.
Actually, Mr. Speaker, speaking of the bill.
The delegate has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, I obviously rise in opposition to this. This bill removes the only structural guarantee that rural Virginians, which is basically everywhere but Nova, have a voice on the Board of Medicine, a board that decides who can practice, where they can practice, and under what conditions. Those decisions fall hardest on communities like the one I represent and the one that many of you on the other side of the aisle represent, where the nearest specialist is an hour away and a nurse practitioner may be the only provider in the county. We're told this is modernization, but no one has identified a single congressional district that can't produce a qualified physician to serve. What is this bill actually doing? It's going to hand the governor unchecked discretion to fill every seat that she or any future governor that might be Republican wants to put on that board. I don't know what it is about Democrats and these districts that they like to fool around with so much, but I think it's important to understand the context. Why would you have to have one person from every congressional district? Why? It's so that we have representation. That's it. That's clear. Like, duh, more. Thank you, guys.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and pass the third reading.
Mr. Speaker, bottom of page 31, House Bill 1147 would direct the Board of Medicine and Board of Nursing to require certain licensees to complete bias reduction training as part of their continuing education and continuing competency requirements for licensure. The legislation also, again, relates to the Board of Nursing continuing education requirements. Legislation Report Committee on Health and Human Services with Amendment Nature Substitute.
Delegate from Chesapeake, Delegate Hayes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, members of the House, people are dying unnecessarily. And for over 2 decades, leading national organizations like the American Medical Association, the National Medical Association, have championed bias reduction training in healthcare. These organizations have long recognized that bias training is the key to reducing healthcare disparities and improving patient outcomes. In Virginia, the Medical Society of Virginia and the Virginia Nurses Association have supported bias reduction training for many years, aligning with the national standards. By passing this bill, we align with decades of expert consensus, ensuring a more equitable healthcare system for all Virginians. Mr. Speaker, I hope it's the will of the body to engross the bill and move it on to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and pass the third reading.
Mr. Speaker, members of the House, we have 8 bills to pick back up that got moved, so we're going back to page 12. If you're following that way, the bill before you next, Delegate Kent's House Bill 646, legislation to amend and reenact section of the Code of Virginia relating to green warning lights, certain farm vehicles. This legislation report committee on transportation.
Hold on one second.
Richmond County. Hers was 5. Sorry.
Okay. Delegate from Richmond County, Delegate Kent.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 646 is a bill that allows the use of green warning lights on vehicles displaying a permanent farm use placard or tractor while operating on and along a highway. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
Over on page 13, there is now before you House Bill 848, legislation to amend and reenact section of the Code of Virginia relating to the Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act. Material noncompliance by landlord, rent escrow relief. Legislation Report Committee on General Laws.
Doug from Richmond City, Delegate Cousins.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. HB 848 improves access to the legal system by removing the requirement that tenants be current on their rent in order to file an affirmative action against a landlord for failing to address uninhabitable conditions. The bill does not change existing requirements that tenants pay rent into escrow upon filing an assertion and during the pendency of the action. It also does not apply to unlawful detainer or eviction cases. It will only apply when a tenant is making an affirmative action against a landlord for failing to meet safe housing standards. I worked on this bill with the housing advocates, the Virginia Realtors, also the Virginia Apartment and Management Association to agree on language that works for all parties, and also the bill is supported by the Office of the Executive Secretary. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be engrossed and passed on to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
Moving forward in the calendar to page 14, House Bill 1093 is legislation to amend and reenact Section Code of Virginia, again relating to the Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act, landlord remedies, tenant's right of redemption, attorney's fees. Legislation Report Committee on General Laws with an amendment nature substitute.
Delegate from Norfolk, Delegate Hernandez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. Committee substitute is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is a consumer protection bill. This legislation creates a cap on attorney's fees in unlawful detainer cases that involve the least amount of legal work, specifically those cases in which an unlawful detainer has been filed but is then resolved before the initial court date. In those limited circumstances, attorney fees will be capped at $100. It is a narrowly tailored bill and it has consensus across all stakeholders. Move that we engross the bill, pass it along to its third read.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and pass the third reading.
Over on page 15, we come to House Bill 1127, legislation to amend and reenact section of the Code of Virginia relating to the State Corporation Commission toll rate increases, duration, and timeline for review. Legislation Board Committee on Labor and Commerce.
Delegate from Loudoun County, Delegate Reed.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, this was moved from the uncontested calendar, so we do have agreement from all of the stakeholders as we've moved forward. But House Bill 1127 increases from 1 year to 2 years the maximum length of time for the State Corporation Commission is authorized to approve toll rate increases under the Virginia Highway Corporation Act of 1988. I hope it will be the will of the body to engross the bill and move it on to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and pass the third reading.
Over on page 16, we come to to House Bill 1289, House Bill 1289, which seeks to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to professions and occupations, regulation of geologists. Legislation Report Committee on General Laws with Amendment Nature Substitute.
Delegate from Winchester, Delegate Wiley.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Committee substitute is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This legislation further recognizes the important work and includes them under the Virginia Public Procurement Act as professional service. They join engineers, architects, and several other regulated professions in this section. Additionally, this legislation proposes new continuing education requirements. I request that this bill be engrossed and passed on to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
Turning to page 17, we come to House Bill 1291, same patron, different bill. This one seeks to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to professions and occupations, regulation of geologist exemptions. Again, this legislation report committee on general laws.
Delegate from Winchester, Delegate Wiley.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. HB 1291 would add an exemption from geology licensure for federal employees performing geology-related work. The proposed amendment would clarify the law, remove unnecessary regulatory barriers, and support smoother coordination between the federal and state agencies while maintaining the integrity of Virginia's licensing framework. Request that this bill be engrossed and passed on to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and pass the third reading.
1305, HB 1305, now before you, seeks to amend and reenact multiple sections of the Code of Virginia, all related to professions and occupations, powers and duties of regulatory boards, disciplinary action, dismissal. Legislation, again, report committee on general laws.
The delegate from Henrico County, Delegate Navarre.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I was going to use my auctioneer voice, but I will not quit. I'll stick to my day job, actually. Per DPOR's request, House Bill 1305 gives our regulatory boards a new tool, deferred disposition, that allows them to address minor or first-time no-harm violations by placing a case under advisement and dismissing it if the licensee meets set conditions. This helps ensure small unintentional mistakes don't trigger disproportionately harsh penalties while allowing boards to focus their strictest actions on serious or harmful misconduct. Mr. Speaker, I ask that the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and passed the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
And, Mr. Speaker, over on page 18, Delegate Schmidt's House Bill 1408, now before you, seeks to amend and reenact section of the Code of Virginia relating to the Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act. Landlord remedies noncompliance with rental agreement, victim of family abuse. This legislation also is report committee on general laws.
Delegate from Richmond City, Delegate Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, HB 1408 provides additional protections to domestic violence victims facing evictions because of the actions of their abusers. All stakeholders agree that no one should have to choose between housing and the safety of their family. Mr. Speaker, it is my honor to carry this as my first bill, and I hope it is the will of the body to engross the bill and pass it to its third reading.
So you wanted to remind them this is your first bill. The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Simon.
Mr. Speaker, would the delegate yield for a question?
The delegate yield for a question.
I yield for a cross-examination question.
Delegate will yield.
I would ask the delegate, I'm reading this bill very carefully. I noticed that this bill adds 4 new commas where the commas hadn't previously existed. And so I assume that the delegate must be an expert on the placement of commas. And I would ask if he would please weigh in on the Oxford comma debate and let us know whether he believes the Oxford comma is necessary or unnecessary. For the record, once and for all, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, answering the question, although I did not go to such a prestigious school as Oxford, I will go on record as being a proponent of the Oxford comma.
Ooh. Mr. Speaker, it is Friday. I thank the delegate.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and pass the third reading.
Mr. Speaker, that completes today's work on the regular calendar.
Per House Rule 51, the House has returned to the morning hour. Does the clerk have any additional announcements or communications?
Yes, sir. Mr. Speaker, simply the Majority Leader is going to make a motion to hear in a moment, but immediately upon the recess, that the House Appropriations Committee will be meeting on the 12th floor House Appropriations Committee room immediately upon the recess to consider legislation.
Delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House stand in recess until 1:35.
Delegate from Alexandria moves that the House stand in recess until 1:35. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The House stands in recess until 1:35. House is adjourned. House will come to order, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, members of the House, there is a supplemental calendar number 1, which is simply putting legislation on first reading regular. House Bill 29 is listed there, and that is a first reading, so that is informational purposes only. Mr. Speaker, also looking at the meeting schedule for the remainder of today and announcements, I have a communication from the Speaker to the clerk. I've made the following committee assignments changes effective today. Delegate Garrett is appointed to the Committee on Communication Technology and Innovation. Delegate Griffin is removed from the Committee on Health and Human Services and the Committee on Communications Technology and Innovation. Delegate Phillips is appointed to the Committee on Transportation, and Delegate Williams is removed from the Committee on Transportation and appointed to the Committee on Health and Human Services. Mr. Speaker, now that the supplemental has been announced, just pick back up with the regular portion of the rest of the remaining day. Committee on Appropriations is meeting 15 minutes upon adjournment of the full House, which will then be on the 12th floor, and then once the full committee is finished, they'll have 2 of their subcommittees. General Government and Capital Outlay will meet, and then the HHR subcommittee will meet once the first subcommittee is finished. So Appropriations, 2 of its subs. Courts is foregoing its meeting time today. However, the Courts of Justice will meet 15 minutes upon adjournment of the House. The criminal subcommittee, criminal sub 15 upon adjournment of the House, and then at 2:30. The Committee on Rules will be meeting. Committee for Courts, a criminal sub will be on House Committee Room C on the 2nd floor, and then right next door, the Rules Committee at 2:30 will be in House Room B, also on the 2nd floor. Looking ahead to Monday, February 9th, the Committee on Finance, Subcommittee number 1 is meeting in House Committee Room B, bright and early at 7 a.m. on Monday on the 2nd floor. At 8 o'clock, the Committee on Education will be meeting in the lower level, House Committee Room A, Monday morning at 8. And then once the full committee is finished, its Higher Education Subcommittee will meet immediately upon adjournment of the full committee. At 8 a.m. as well, the Committee on Communications Technology Innovations, Communications Subcommittee will be meeting. That's in House Committee Room C on the 2nd floor. And then once presumably, or they work their docket, and then at 10 o'clock, the Committee on Communications, full committee, Communications, Technology, Innovations will be meeting. Mr. Speaker, then the 2 caucuses will be meeting before we go into session on Monday. The Democratic caucus meet at 11:15 in House Room 1, Republican caucus at 11 a.m. in House Room 2. So, Mr. Speaker, that's all the announcements that I have at this time.
Delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring.
Mr. Speaker, I move that when the House adjourns today, it adjourn to reconvene at 12 noon on Monday.
Delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring moves that when the House adjourns today, it adjourn to reconvene Monday at 12 noon. As many in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The motion is agreed to. The Delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the House do now adjourn.
Delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring moves that the House do now adjourn. As many in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The motion is agreed to. The House turns adjourned until Monday at 12 noon.